An up-close and personal look at your finances. Here's your host, Fred Snyder.
Up in the morning and out to school.
We're back. We're live. We're interactive. And again, I remind you definitely that we are interactive. We'd like to have conversations with you, our listeners, about your money and how to keep it. We don't do a very good job in that particular regard because nobody ever taught us how to do that. So that's why I'm here. I'm here to teach you what you need to know so that you can make better financial decisions and so that you can hang on to more of your hard-earned dollars. So we do a pretty good job of earning money, but we don't do a very good job of keeping it because in school they taught us reading, writing, and arithmetic, but they did not, I repeat, they did not teach us about personal financial planning. So if you were going to get some knowledge about personal financial planning, where would you get it? Well, a good place to start is right here. I like to say your financial future starts here. It starts here with a phone call. So get on the line, give us a call. We welcome your calls right now. We want your participation in this show, and we want to have conversations with you about your financial problems, about your financial opportunities, and about some of the things that you did financially that you're kind of proud of that you might want to share with our listening audience. Get on the line, talk to us about your financial plans, about your financial planner, about your financial goals and objectives, about anything. And we're going to throw the show wide open today. We're not going to focus on any particular topic, but we do want to talk about personal financial planning. If you just tuned in, I'm certified financial planner Fred Snyder, also a registered financial planner, 2 professional degrees in the business. And joining me is Stephen Baird. We're both with Scotia McLeod. We're both here to talk to you about your money, how to keep it, and to teach you the principles of personal financial planning. So welcome, Steve.
Good morning.
Now, I'm going to get right down to brass tacks. Why do you think people fail financially?
Well, we go through this over and over.
I know we do.
It starts with really the wanting or the desire to make things go the way you want.
You got to want to.
You got to want to. You got to be motivated. And that allows you to take the next step to start to get some education about it. And just like fitness, your finances is something that requires attention every day. And, every week, every day, it's something you have to keep in order to fight off the gravity that basically makes your finances sort of unravel over time if you don't pay attention to them.
How many CE credits, CE standing for continuing education, do you need per year to maintain your designations?
Well, we do it in a 2-year window, which ends in December 31st, on December 31st of this year. And there are 30 compliance credits and 30 continuing education credits, which could be products, it could be market information and investment management.
So you and I, as financial advisors, are required to keep our knowledge up to date.
Absolutely, right? It's a changing market, it's a changing environment.
Why is that necessary?
Well, because we're providing advice.
I think the answer is logical.
Right. Well, we've got a fiduciary duty to provide good advice to our clients. And if our knowledge is out of date, then that becomes a difficult thing to do to provide good advice.
If knowledge is important to you and me, should it be any less important to our clients?
Not at all. No, not at all. I mean, they are relying on our expertise, just like you go to a dentist or a doctor. But, you have to understand how, for going back to the fitness example, you have to understand how your body works and know those different things about it. Whenever I go to the doctor and I get a diagnosis of some kind, I go on the internet and research it. For example, with my shoulder getting operated on, I want to understand that, but I'm not going to be an expert on it. I'm going to rely on them and know how I can better leverage their advice.
Did you get a second opinion on your shoulder?
Not yet. I'm getting the first one next week.
It's the first second opinion?
No, the first opinion.
Okay. Are you going to get a second opinion?
I will. Yes.
And you think people should do that when we talk about finances as well?
Absolutely. Because, I always say in this business, you can meet with 100 different advisors and have 100 different personalities and 100 different approaches. So you have to find the one that's right for you. And there's no right or wrong answer there. It's more of a personal connection.
I met with a lady last week who had a lot of money invested in Phillips, Hager, and North and decided to get a second opinion and take a look at what we had to offer. And I looked at our model portfolio number 5 and compared that with the portfolio that she had with Phillips, Hager, and North. My model portfolio 5 is less risky than the portfolio that she currently has with Phillips, Hager, and North. Less risk. The return is 2%, 2.4% better. measured on 5 years.
With the same risk or lower?
With lower risk.
With lower risk.
Lower risk, return 2.4% better. I projected that out for 5 years. If that continues, that differentiation, and I'm not saying it will or it won't, but if that differentiation continues for 5 years, you know what the difference in the value of her portfolio is? It's about $400,000.
Wow. That's amazing.
So it means if she stays where she is, in lost returns, it costs her $400,000. If she moves, she makes $400,000 more. If you project it out for 10 years at the same differential, the number is over $1 million difference.
Because it's compounding.
Yes.
That money's compounding the growth, right?
Okay.
With less risk.
Less risk, $1 million more. Isn't that what we offer? We offer less risk, better rates of return. Okay? And they're trying to tell her that she's got a big tax problem and there's going to be fees involved. I calculated the differential on no fees on the portfolio she has. No fees, and my numbers are after fees, net of fees, and they're still better by 2.4% compounded annually. Oh, I mean,
that's motivating right there.
It confuses the hell out of people. That's what the competition tries to do. They try to confuse. Okay, and what do you do when you're confused?
You go into analysis paralysis, often.
And you don't do anything.
Right. Status quo. Well, I remember you and I were chatting about maybe 2 weeks ago and saying that we're here to engage with new clients. I mean, we're always out there looking for new clients and doing a good job for our existing clients as well. But the biggest competition is not one particular firm or one particular approach. It's the status quo. It's bringing people away from what they've always been doing. It's just like that. Now
give us an example.
Well, this client that you're referring to is a perfect example. Or the person that's sitting at home saying to themselves, well, I really should do something about my portfolio. I'm not happy with the rates of return. I'm not happy with the level of service I'm getting, or whatever the case may be. So, I've over my experience, even with our team here in the last year or so, had many examples where we're engaged with somebody looking at their portfolio and they still won't make a changes. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't necessarily make them.
No,
drink,
I was in your office the other day, and you got a lot of certificates up on the walls. So you've done a lot of learning and studying over the years.
Absolutely, right.
Okay. And you have you're a portfolio manager, so you have the ability to manage discretionary money.
Right.
What does that mean?
Well, if you think about the old days when a stockbroker would be calling you and saying, hey, Mr. Smith, we need to buy something or sell something and so forth. This is a step beyond where folks don't necessarily want or need to be involved in the day-to-day decision-making of what goes on in the portfolio, but they're definitely very involved in creating the mandate for that portfolio. So we create a strategic direction, if you will, which gives me a certain level of latitude as a portfolio manager to work within.
Can you simplify that statement?
Sure. Okay. We create a strategy and then I implement it on a day-to-day basis without having to call to make every single change and get a verbal authorization.
So the bottom line is, if you're a discretionary trader, you can make a decision to change an investment without the client's approval.
Correct.
The client kind of gives you the approval to make that decision on a discretionary basis in advance.
Right.
So you don't have to waste time, so which means that you can make quick moves.
Right.
You can be sitting there, and let's suppose that we have a nuclear war that breaks out in Ukraine, and you want to get all the money into money market fund, you can push a button and it's done.
Right. For all across the board.
Imagine if you had to call all your clients just to do that. You wouldn't be able to do it.
Exactly.
So sometimes the ability to do that discretionary trading is important.
Absolutely. In terms of timing, it allows me to do the right thing at the right time without allowing those logistics, if you will, fall in the way of good decision making.
Okay, the number to call, ladies and gentlemen, and listeners out there, the number to call. Somebody told me last week to give these numbers out a little more slowly, so I'm going to try to do that today. The number to call, get a pencil, get a paper, write this down. The number to call is area code 604-280-0650. I'm going to repeat it, 604-280-0650. Now, should you be calling long distance, you're over on Vancouver Island, whatever. The number to call then is 1-877-280-0650. Easy to remember, 650 is the station's call letters. Put a 0 in front of it and then the 250 in front of that, and you got the number. Once again, 604-280-0650. The long distance, 877-280-0650. Now, some of you listening to the show right now are shy. You're reluctant to talk on the air. You're afraid of the radio and all that kind of stuff. If that's you, you can talk to Frida. Frida's down at the office for your convenience. She's there right now. I talked to her just a few minutes ago, and she's at the office right now, 604-737-3512. 604-737-3512. Long distance, 800-661-1495. Once again, 800-661-1495. Local calls, area code 604-737-3512. We want to talk to you. Your financial future begins right here with a phone call. Make that call. Doesn't matter whether you implement anything that we talk about on this show now, later, never. Doesn't really matter. The important thing is that you get the information so you can make that decision when and if you want to use the information that we talk about. We're talking about your financial future, and most people fail financially. At the risk of being repetitious, because I do this every time we do this show, if you take 100 people who start out equal today at the age of 25, by the time they end up at 65, 1 is wealthy, 4 are well-to-do, 5 are still working, 36 don't have to worry anymore because they've passed away, and there's 54 still left over. They're broke, dependent on family and state. And they're broke because they didn't get the financial knowledge. They didn't learn how to keep their money. They didn't have a financial plan. They didn't have a financial planner. And they did not have the best products inside their financial plan. I just gave you an example right now where there's a differential of almost $400,000 over 5 years in the difference in the portfolio that she has and the one that we offer. That should be a no-brainer to make that change. Should be an absolute no-brainer, because the numbers speak for themselves.
It occurred to me that part of the issue with people taking action is that it's not a switch event where you could be better off financially by making a change and actually taking control of your finances. It's something that happens very slowly, if you will. So it's sort of a slow deterioration, or that status quo just keeps you in one spot instead of moving you forward. So, day one, if this client that we're talking about had made a change, it may be $1 worth of difference, or, $10 worth of difference. So it's small, and maybe that's not motivating them enough. But if you were to walk up to them and say, hey, I'm going to take $400,000 out of your pocket 5 years from now, that would be a much more shocking event. So that might be part of the issue in terms of getting people to take action. And
well, it's always about fear. Fear of making the wrong decision, fear of being criticized, fear of losing money. Most people, the majority of people, are more motivated by fear of loss than incentive of gain.
Right.
You can tell them, if you invest this money, you're going to make 2% more. You would motivate them even stronger if you told them if they don't do it, they're going to lose 2%. I don't understand the difference, but that's psychology.
That's psychology.
That's human psychology.
Right.
Okay.
It's not only about money, too, right? It's about
anything.
A number of things, right?
If you tell somebody they're losing, they don't like that. Nobody likes to lose. And again, the fear of criticism. We fear criticism more than death. We talk about Crimea, and you got the charge of the Light Brigade. Those soldiers charged up the hill to certain death. Now, why would they do that? Why would anybody do that? Because they didn't want to be called a coward. They were more afraid of criticism than they were death.
Right.
And it's strange when you think about it.
It is. Right.
The word fear, F-E-A-R, is the acronym for false evidence appearing real. The opposite of fear is knowledge. The opposite of fear is facts. So if you get the information, then you're going to be less scared. If you're scared, you're not going to make the right decisions. The boat tied up at the dock isn't going to get anywhere if it's tied up at the dock. You got to leave the dock.
Well,
You
nothing
got to
good.
start the journey.
Nothing good in life happens without taking that first step.
Starts with the first step. Bang on. Let's talk to Don in Langley. Don, welcome to the program. Hi, Don.
Hi.
Don, are you there? Oh,
Pardon?
I got the same
Pardon?
problem with my
I just want to
earphones.
speak to
Can you hear Don? Is he there?
He's there.
Talk to him.
Hi, Don. It's Steve speaking here. How are you?
I'm fine.
Thanks for your call. What's your question today? Or
My
what's
question? I want to find out about some money that I sent him.
Okay, Don, I can hear you now. Hello?
I think we lost him.
Don, call back. Sorry about that. I got to remember to put these headphones on, I guess, because the speaker doesn't come through when we're taking calls. So anyway, that was Don from Langley, and I'm going to give the numbers out while we're waiting for Don to come back. It's area code 604-280-0650, long distance 877-280-0650. Frida down at the office, area code 604-737-3512, long distance 800-661-1495. If you have a computer, you can log on www.am650radio.com and then click on Watch Television or Watch TV, and you'll be able to watch our webcast, because this program is webcast. You can see what we look like. Two handsome guys here talking to you about your money, more importantly about your money and how to keep it. I'm still waiting for Don to come back. So again, the show is called It's Your Money. We're talking about the fact that everybody needs a financial plan. Everybody needs the best products inside their plan. And very, very few people have a financial planner to make sure that all that happens. You need a financial coach. That's what we do. So we do seminars and courses. We do workshops. And again, anybody who calls the show gets a seat at our next workshop. I'm going to slow down on giving away Kobos and stuff, even though I don't mind doing it. I don't think I should have to bribe people to call this show, okay? So I'm just not going to do that today. And I would appreciate any of our loyal listeners and followers if you'd give us a call. You can make your comments, ask your question, whatever it is. And again, maybe the best question is this. What is something that you have done from a financial point of view that has made you more successful? Share that with us. Or you might say, what can I do to do better financially? Whatever. Let's talk to Carol from North Vancouver. Carol, welcome to the program.
Thank you. What I want to know is, what is the amount that you can make before they start clawing back?
Ouch, the old clawback.
The old clawback.
It's $70,000 approximately.
Oh, I don't have to worry. Thank you very much.
Don't hold me right to the dollar, but it's around 70 grand.
That's okay.
Let me expand on that a bit. Anything that you anything that you earn in excess of $70,000 means that 15% of your old age pension is clawed back, and they keep clawing that back until you get to the maximum before the whole thing is gone, and it's around 120,000. So if you make 70, you lose some. If you make something between 70 and 120, you're losing half of it maybe, and by the time you get to 120, it's all gone.
Oh, thanks, Fred. No, I'm okay.
Most people, Carol, think that they have to worry about the clawback. Very few people do.
I think so. Thank you very much for that info.
Appreciate your call.
Okay, bye-bye.
You take care, bud.
Fred, this is something we get lots of questions on. You're still better off if your income is higher.
Oh, sure.
So every dollar, it's not like you don't want to earn that dollar because part of it, your OAS is going to be
But it goes right back to what I said a minute ago. People are more motivated by losing than they are gaining.
What a great example.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. I've had people say to me, hey, find a way that I can make less income because I don't want it clawed back.
So they're saying, I want my 15 cents back. Here's my dollar.
Yeah. But that's human nature, and you got to understand that.
Because it's amazing how many people are really stressed about getting clawed back. Yeah. And there's so much misinformation out there. You're still better off. It's like earning $1 and paying some tax on it.
It's like the case study that I talked about at the beginning. This woman is mortified about switching her portfolio because she's got to pay some tax. It doesn't bother her that the rate of return of 2.4%, if you spread that over 5 years, is around $400,000, and over 10 years is over $1 million. That doesn't bother her.
Right. So I'd rather keep my $15,000 or $20,000 worth of tax I would pay if I make a change than have the $400,000 in my pocket 5 years from now.
Yeah.
Wow. It's true though.
But
It's true.
and it's the hardest thing that people like I have to deal with, because I have to motivate people. A big part of my job is motivation. We've talked about it on the show, that how do you motivate yourself, and we use affirmations, and how do you motivate others? You empathize and you appreciate. Empathy and appreciation gets the cooperation of other people, and we're all guilty of maybe not doing enough of that sometimes, but that's what it's all about. You want to motivate other people, show empathy and appreciation. You want to motivate yourself, stand in front of the mirror and give yourself lots of affirmations, but make sure nobody's watching.
I think you're crazy.
Let's talk to Rob from Vancouver Island. Rob, welcome to the program.
Hi, Fred.
Hi, Rob.
Just a quick comment. Listen to the show all the time. I'm a client of yours.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people I hear on the show are probably like me. We're past our earning years. We're into retirement years and wondering how to keep the money we can and how much we can spend. And it's something you don't talk a lot about on the show. If I lived on the Lower Mainland, I would probably go to your seminars. I like the idea that you teach. But in my case, it's a matter of just, it was great just to meet with you.
Rob, I can't tell you how much I appreciate this call.
Throw the money in your hands.
Give me some constructive.
If I can buy a sports car, or if I can go on a holiday.
Give me some constructive criticism. It's good. You say that, well, how can we do better? Well, I thought we were doing what you just asked for, but maybe we're not. So we have to teach people what they need to know to make better financial decisions. The answer to your question is this: you need a written financial plan. If you don't have one, we owe you one. We're supposed to do one. Have we done a written financial plan for you?
Yes, we have.
Okay. The answer is in there. Okay. It should be in there if it isn't, because the written financial plan will tell you how much money. If are you retired right now?
Yes, I'm retired.
The financial plan will tell you how much money you can spend and make your money last as long as you do.
Exactly.
That's the key, because if you spend too much, you're going to go broke before you die. You don't want that to happen.
So why don't all the other financial planners out there do this? You talk about your 10 different funds, and I think I'm on 7.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at the best products, and you give them to me, and I get my statements, and I know how much money I can spend. Why don't all the other financial planners out there do that?
Well, if there's any other financial planners out there that are listening to this show right now, call us and tell us why you don't do it. I'd like to know, because I don't know. Maybe they don't know how. Maybe they're too lazy. I don't have the foggiest idea, because really, that's what this business is all about. This business is all about having a written blueprint that says, here's where I stand now, here's where I want to go, and here's how I'm going to get there. I'm oversimplifying when I say that, but that's what it's all about. Steve is sitting there. Steve is charged with the responsibility of doing all the financial plans, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So again, Steve is part of my team. That's his job. So his job is to sit down with you or anybody else and do a financial plan and keep it up to date. Keeping it up to date is at least once a year. Okay?
And what I really appreciate is thinking of young nieces and nephews and people in their 30s is how to plan for the future. But what I really appreciate from you is, now that I don't have an income anymore, so I'm just managing the assets I have at this time, you guys do a great job of that.
Well, thank you. God, I need more calls like this. But hey,
there's one planning for your retirement.
Yeah.
But the other is once you're retired and you don't have an income anymore, what do I do with that stuff you made me save?
Yeah.
And how much can I spend and enjoy Can I go out and restore the sports car or buy the fishing boat or not? And you do that end as well. So you do the front end.
Yeah. Remember what I said earlier, that if you want to motivate people, the best way to motivate them is appreciation and understanding, empathy. You just gave me that appreciation and understanding. So anytime you give me a call, I'll just beat a path straight to your door. Okay, really, because that's what everybody wants. They want understanding and appreciation, and you just articulated that extremely well.
Okay.
Rob, I can't tell you how much I appreciate your call, and see you next time over on the island.
Okay, thanks, Fred. Thanks.
Okay, Rob.
Thank you.
You take care. Have a great weekend. Let's talk to Alan in Vancouver. Alan, welcome to the program.
Morning.
Morning, Alan.
I've got 2 points. One is an observation, and the other is a question. I just got some investment information from a credit union. I won't say the name of the credit union. And on the business card, it says financial specialist, but it has no assignments such as what training. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
After his name, there's no letters.
Yeah.
Well, they call themselves. I don't know what that means. Financial specialist. Everybody's a financial specialist, even a 12-year-old. But this is a very large credit union, and the individual looking after the investment has no designation. That's the word.
Well, if that individual doesn't have one, that speaks very loudly about that particular individual. They may have one, maybe they just don't put it on their card, but I can't believe you'd have one and you wouldn't put it on your card.
Yeah.
So I think that's a red flag.
Yeah. Okay, my question is, I clearly understand today you do not have to retire at 65, but how long can a person work? And I know you can contribute to Canada Pension up to 70. Is there a mandatory law or regulation that you have to retire regardless of your desire?
Nothing that I'm aware of.
Okay, you could just keep on going.
You keep on going until you keep on going.
It sounds like a guy I know by the name of Fred.
Well, that's me.
Yeah, I know.
I get paid well to do what I'd like to do.
Yeah.
And that's really the bottom line.
Right.
And I'll continue to work as long as I can.
That's the way to go.
I it's not that I can't retire if I wanted to. I can retire anytime, and maybe I'll spend all my time fishing. But I'm not going to do that. I don't need to do that, and I don't want to.
Well, you can give an equivalent statement. You have a choice. You can rust out or burn out.
That's a good one. It's like a wise man once said. He said, "When you're green, you grow, and when you're ripe, you rot."
Well taken. Thank you.
So, Alan, I can't tell you how much I appreciate your call, and thanks for coming out to all the seminars.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye. Okay, so Alan's line is now open. If you've just joined us, I'm certified financial planner Fred Snyder, also a registered financial planner, and I'm here with Stephen Baird. He's a portfolio manager. We're both with Scotia McLeod, and we're both dedicated to teaching clients what they need to know to make better financial decisions. The show is Your Money and How to Keep It. Really, I may even shorten that up even more and call it Money and How to Keep It. I think maybe that's what this show really is all about. It's not just about money. It's about money and how to keep it. And the shorter you can make that, the better. The more shorter it is, the more powerful it is. It becomes a real metaphor. Let's talk to Tracy from Vancouver. Tracy, welcome to the program.
Good morning, Fred.
Good morning, Tracy. How you doing?
All right. You were talking earlier about segregated funds, of which I have a couple of segregated funds. But what I wanted to check with you on was the segregated funds are like a life insurance for your beneficiaries. I understand that they get transferred directly to the beneficiaries without going through a bunch of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
Now, with a segregated fund, can you use the interest or dividends from the fund to live on by holding the principal within the fund and then helping to augment your retirement?
Of course.
Oh, okay. That's basically my question.
Segregated funds are a form of mutual fund wrapped in an insurance product, or in an insurance wrapper, I should say. So a mutual fund company like CI Funds or like Fidelity, I can name any number of different funds, but they make an arrangement with an insurance company where they form a partnership and they attach insurance to the seg fund. And that's really an insurance product. It's classified as an insurance product. And because of that, you can name a beneficiary. By being able to name a beneficiary, you can do some estate planning, which you wouldn't be able to normally do. I could spend this whole program just talking about seg funds. It's not my aim to do that. But the bottom line is that seg funds are liquid. You can cash them in. Sometimes there's redemption fees. And if they're inside an RRSP, there could be taxes to consider. And even outside of an RRSP, there could be taxes to consider. But they're liquid. So if you wanted to have them just send you the dividends, they could. If you wanted them to send you a systematic withdrawal plan where they redeem a number of units on a regular basis, they can do that too. So you can generate income from a seg fund. And the Manulife Income Plus is probably one of the more well-known forms of seg fund arrangements where you can withdraw an income from that particular product guaranteed for life.
Okay.
Okay. So I think you do have some seg funds if I go by memory, and
right.
We should maybe review that.
Yeah, I think I will, Fred. I just for to try and get beneficiaries on as much of my accounts as possible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Tracy, I can't tell you how much I appreciate your call.
And I wanted to also make a comment and say that even though I've been to a lot of your seminars...
More than anybody I know.
Including you.
Even though I've been to many over the years, I want to say that some people might think that it's, quote, boring to have the repetition, but I find that it isn't repetition. It instills in me a deeper understanding of what I had learned last year or the year before. So I want to thank you for that.
Thanks, Tracy. And let me tell you that every time I do a workshop, I learn something myself, almost every time.
Right.
Okay, so really it's a learning experience, and the way you remember stuff is called spaced repetition.
Right.
Okay, so there's a formula for teaching that goes like this. You tell them, you show them, you get them to show you, and you drill for skill.
Yeah.
Drilling for skill is the repetitious part.
Right.
Okay, so enjoy the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, you too, thanks.
Okay, Tracy, take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Tracy's line is now open, so ladies and gentlemen, once again, if you just joined us, I'm certified financial planner. Fred Snyder, also registered financial planner. I'm here with Stephen Barrett. We're talking about your money. We're talking about money and how to keep it. And we'll talk to Christine in Vancouver. Christine, welcome to the program.
Hello.
Hi, Christine.
Hi. I have a couple of questions and maybe a comment. It's true that even now I'm not nervous about being on the radio, but I'm nervous about talking about my money because I feel like I have lots of questions, but I never really know what my question is because I don't feel really confident in lots of terms. Like the last caller, for instance, I didn't really understand anything about that call. But I earn money and I have money and I want to get a plan. And I kind of feel like I have a plan only because, I have tax-free savings account. I bought a small property that I rent out, and I retired early with a pension, a little baby pension, and then I work, casually on the side as well. But I don't know if I'm on the right track. So my question would be, do I pay for a financial planner, or is it something that you do at the bank?
I love the question. This is a terrific question because a lot of people listening to this show might think if I make an appointment to see Snyder, it's going to cost me some money. There's absolutely no cost of any kind whatsoever. We do not charge for financial planning.
Okay. I've seen a money coach And she got me on track for sure and has helped me over the years in sort of that the old style of envelope your money. I've got many electronic accounts that I look at almost every day. So I must love my money because I move stuff around, and if I go and buy something that's, say, a big spring shopping clothing fee, clothing charge, I have a clothing account, and I just move that money into my checking account wherever I took it out of.
Mm-hmm.
But she charged me a lot to get me organized like that. So I feel
well, we
like
don't
that's
charge.
on the right. Sorry?
We don't charge.
Okay, so I guess that's my my question. Is it someone at the bank doesn't charge also, and are they're a financial advisor? Or
Well, yeah, that's always the question. You can go to any financial institution, and you're going to get various levels of ability between different financial advisors. You talk to somebody like me, what do I have to offer? I have 2 professional designations. I have a lot of knowledge, and I got a tremendous amount of experience. And you can't buy the experience. It takes time to get the experience. So that's what I offer. And I've been through good times and bad times. I've seen up markets and down markets and markets during wars and everything else. Okay, I can remember back in 1990 when we had the war in Iraq as an example, and what that did to the markets and so on. And we worry about the markets. I remember the meltdown of '08. God, I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. It was a scary, scary time. But somehow we get through that. We have Ford, General Motors, and Chrysler virtually bankrupt at that time. Where's the economy going? And look at today. We're booming again today. And now we got issues in the Ukraine, okay, that we have to worry about. Remember the Cuban Missile Crisis and what that did. I remember a time the Dow Jones Industrial Average was having a hard time breaking 1,000. It's over 16,000 right now, 16 times that level. Everybody's going to say it can never get through 1,000. Well, it's 16 times that today. I've seen all that, and that's experience. And you can't fabricate that. You can't buy that. It's there. And basically, I think that people need a financial advisor, a financial coach. You can't do it on your own. I don't think you can. You may think you can. Some people may think they can. I say you can't really do it on your own.
I don't think I can. I need a plan. So How do I come and see you?
You give Frida a call. You can reach her right now. Area code 604-737-3512. Area code 604-737-3512. Give her a call. Come on in, and we'll start the process. And again, no cost whatsoever. No cost or obligation of any kind.
Well, it really is a no-brainer then. I'll call and make an appointment.
Okay, that's cool. Appreciate the call. You take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Let's talk to Louisa. Louisa, welcome to the program.
Oh, good morning, Fred.
Good morning. How are you?
Oh, wonderful, thank you. And like Tracy, I never find your seminars boring. And the only reason I haven't been at the last number was because I was away enjoying myself.
And you've had 2 wonderful vacations this year, right?
I had one, yes, and I'm going to have another one.
Okay, so the second one is just on the horizon.
Just on the horizon, just on Tuesday. I'll be off on a little cruise, and then when I come back, I'll be at your seminars again.
And you're doing what you love to do, right?
Exactly. Well, that's the thing. You have to save, but at the same time, you have to enjoy life because it goes by so quickly.
Well, there's no question about that.
Yeah, and I know that you love your fishing expedition, and that's what gives life to you. You look forward to that every year.
Well, that's August the 3rd this year, and if there's anybody out there that wants to go on a great fishing trip, I'll give them a plug right now. Edgewater Fortune, they're out of New Westminster, and it's about $2,700 for 7 days, 7-day fishing trip, and I've done it 8 times now. Never been disappointed. Always got my limit. Lost a huge one a couple of years ago. It must have been 65, 70 pounds. It was a big one.
That's great. And when do you take off this year?
Yeah, I'll take August off because I have my own boat. I got a nice big fishing boat right now, and I'll go on my fishing trip and I'll fish the local waters in August, right around here.
Well, you sure deserve it, Fred, because you have helped so many of us over the years, and really appreciate it.
Well,
thank you very much for making my life better, only for you.
You say hi to Heath for me, okay?
Yes, I will.
Okay, Louisa,
Okay, Fred, have a wonderful day.
you have a great weekend. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you just joined us, I'm certified financial planner Fred Snyder, also a registered financial planner. Here with Stephen Baird, we're talking about your money, more importantly about your money and how to keep it. If you're looking at the screen, I have executor duties up on the screen right now. And again, anybody who is considering being an executive, maybe you should take a look at these duties, and then you might change your mind. We'll provide you with a copy of that if you call the office. We got to go to the break, and we're going. When we come back, we'll talk more about your money. No, about money and how to keep it. I got to get that "your" out of there. Money and how to keep it. I think money, how to make it, how to keep it. Maybe that's even better. Maybe we'll have a contest, and somebody can come up with an even better name than that. Money and how to keep it, I think, is very descriptive of what we do. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Fred Snyder.
I want people to call the show that are genuinely interested in increasing their financial IQ so that they can become financially independent sooner and stay financially independent longer.
Fred Snyder.
You don't have a blueprint. Imagine trying to build a house without a blueprint. And how about having a blueprint for your life? What are your lifestyle goals? You need to think about your family life. What are your goals about your family life? What are your lifestyle goals when it comes to health? What are your lifestyle goals when it comes to finances, mental and spiritual? You have to set goals in all those areas, not just finances.
Fred Snyder.
Often we fail because we put too much emphasis on one area and ignore everything else. We work our butts off and we ruin our health. So life is all about balance. So you need a life plan.
Fred Snyder.
Napoleon Hill says this, wrote the book Think and Grow Rich. Anything that you can vividly imagine, ardently desire, and enthusiastically act upon will inevitably come to pass.
Fred Snyder.
My goal, my mission is to help people enhance their financial IQs by teaching them what they need to know to make better financial decisions.
Fred Snyder. And It's Your Money. Saturday and Sunday mornings at 9 on AM 650. It's worth your time. This is CISL Vancouver. All-time favorites. AM 650. Money. Welcome back to It's Your Money on AM 650. If you have a question for Fred, call 604-280-0650. Now, back to Fred.
Okay, we're back. Remind you once again, ladies and gentlemen, that we're live. This is an interactive show. We just love to have conversations with you, our listeners, and for all those who've called the show today, really appreciate those calls. And you're out there, you're listening to the show right now, make a call, make a comment, ask a question. Doesn't matter what it is. Let's have conversation. I don't want to stand here or sit here and preach. I hate talking to Steve, but kidding, of course. But the bottom line is that financial planning is all about all kinds of things. Financial planning is about cash management. It's about establishing financial goals. It's about financial education. It's about retirement planning. It's about estate planning. You know, I have this screen up, and you can see it right now. This describes executor duties. And again, this is a checklist of things that you need to do if you're an executor. And if you don't do a good job, if somebody appoints you as an executor and you don't do a good job, you have liability. You got to understand this. So you got preliminary steps. Locate the will. Review to determine whether there are any special funeral directions. Assist in making funeral arrangements. I don't want to read this, but you got cancellation changes, banking and financial information. It's onerous what you have to do if you're an executor. Administration and distribution. These are all the things you need to do. So this checklist would be a good thing for people to have. If you give Frida a call, we'll send you out a copy of it. Give Frida a call and give her your email address. We'll email you the link, and you'll be able to go there and pick up all this information. So before anybody becomes an executor on anybody's estate, you should really review the duties and the obligations that you have as an executor, or don't do it. That's the bottom line. So this is the estate planning part of your overall financial plan. So it's not only your estate, it's the estate of your parents that you might have to look after. It's the estate of your other relatives that you might have to look after. I have people all the time, they ask me to be an executor. I wouldn't go there in a New York minute.
Yeah.
There's no way that's conflict of interest.
I
And
think
if you find a financial advisor who says he's an executor, I'd be very careful if I were you with that particular
Absolutely.
individual.
Right.
Let's talk to Don in Langley. He's back. Don, welcome back.
Oh, hi, Fred.
Hi, Don. How you doing?
Not too bad. How'd you make out with that letter I sent you?
Just fine. No problem at all.
No problems at all.
No.
Did you get it into that 14.5%?
Pardon me again?
A 14% place for it?
Well, I can't get into those kind of details on the on the radio show. That's about your individual account, and I can't really discuss that on the air.
Oh, I see.
But the bottom line is that we looked after it, and it's being looked after right now.
Oh, thank you.
So, do you have a question or a comment other than that, though? A general question or a comment?
Yeah. Go ahead.
You're already a client, and you're quite happy with what you have and everything?
Oh, I think so.
Yeah. And I reviewed your account not all that long ago. You were doing quite well.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So
It sounds good to me.
well, that's the main thing. That's the main thing.
Well, I just had some extra money, so that's why I sent it to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Don, I can't tell you how much I appreciate your call. You enjoy the rest of the weekend, and if you got any questions regarding that particular investment, give me a call tomorrow. I'll be in the office.
Oh, okay. What's your number there, Fred?
737 3501 is my direct line.
Oh, yeah.
And Frida's number at the office is 737.
I know her number.
Yeah, 3512. Yeah, but that's for anybody else, okay? But if you want to talk to me directly, if anybody's listening to the show right now, you can reach me at the office at 737-3501.
01?
Yeah, 3501. Last two digits are 01.
Yeah,
It's just like Frida's 12. My last two digits are 01.
Oh, 3501 is fine.
Yeah.
Okay, Fred.
Okay, Don,
I'll phone you tomorrow.
you enjoy the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, you're in about 9 or 8?
Oh, I'll be in about 8:30.
8:30.
Yeah.
Okay, Fred.
You take care.
Thank you.
Bye for now. Okay, if you just joined us, I'm certified. I am, really. I'm certified financial planner, Fred Snyder, also a registered financial planner. And again, I specialize in your money and how to keep it. That's what the bottom line is. You got money. How did you get it? How do you earn more? What do you do with what you have? And how do you make sure you keep some of it for your later years or for your golden years? You have to make sure that your money doesn't die before you do. How do you do that? How do you make sure that your money lasts as long as you do? With technology right now and better health science and all that, the chances are we're all going to live longer. We all might be living to be over 100. And what happens if we planned our money to run out at age 85 and we live to be 100? We're broke for 15 years, depending on family and state. That's not a good plan. Okay?
Especially when you need lots of money for your health care.
And especially that. And if you're in a long-term care facility and your spouse is looking after you or that's being paid for out of the family fortune, that money gets drained pretty quickly. So if you're listening to the show and you're concerned about that, it might be a good idea to look into long-term care insurance. You can buy long-term care insurance. That is a good solution for a lot of people. I talked to a couple last week that have 5 kids. And they essentially said, we're retired teachers, and our only financial objective is to make sure our kids have lots of money, because we don't need lots of money. We have great pensions. We have investments, yes, but our pensions pay our living expenses totally and then some. So we want to make sure we grow our money and it goes to our kids. And I said, well, what would happen to your family fortune, the money that you want your kids to have, if either of you ended up in a long-term care facility and you had to finance that with a live-in caregiver, as an example? You can be looking at $5,000 to $10,000 a month. So what happens if you have a spouse that ends up in a long-term care facility and lives a long time, and you have to fork out 5, 10, whatever the number is per month for the rest of that person's life, maybe for 5 or 10 years? It's pretty easy to go broke. and you're still alive. So you gotta call that a what if. What if that happens? How do I deal with it? And there's no better way than insurance. And if you're going to do with insurance, you got to get the insurance while you're still healthy and young enough and healthy enough to be able to get it. So you got to deal with that particular issue. You want a quote on long-term care insurance? You want a quote on life insurance? Give me a call or give Steve a call. Talk to us, and we'll give you that quote because we shop the market. So if someone called me and said, I want a long-term care policy, we will shop the market amongst all the insurance companies that are out there that offer that product and get you the best deal. Same with life insurance, disability insurance, critical illness insurance, all the various forms of insurance that are out there. That's how you protect your wealth against erosion from some of the what-ifs that can destroy it. And I often say, what happens if you're in the States? I go on convention trips quite often. Let's say I'm in L.A. and I have a heart attack and I end up in a hospital in L.A. Who pays for that? BC Medical doesn't pay for it. Okay. Do I have insurance to cover that? Of course I do. But if you're traveling, sometimes you don't think about stuff like that. You're on a cruise ship someplace and something happens. How is that covered?
You always have to be thinking about the potential things that could happen and cover those off. I like to call that part of your protection portfolio. Long-term care, protecting your income and creating your legacy as well.
I like to call it what if. What if? What happens if I'm walking down the street and a meteorite lands on my head? Okay? That's a ridiculous statement because it's probably not going to happen. But the bottom line is, what if? What are the things that can destroy your financial plan? What happens if you come home one day and your wife's walked out, she just left you? What happens to your wealth then? What happens if somebody trips on your front steps and breaks their leg? What happens if you're in a car accident and the liability for the car accident is $3 million and you only got $1 million of liability coverage, which is true in many, many cases.
Right.
People will find an extra $50 to make sure there's no deductible if they have a collision, but they don't spend the extra $50 where it should be spent, and that's on the liability side, because it's the liability side that will destroy you financially if that happens. I know a fellow right now that's in a lawsuit situation with ICBC right now, and basically it looks like he's losing the case, and we're talking $250,000. Okay.
Wow.
So what happens if you get a surprise, like judge slams the gavel down and says you're awarded $250,000? You got to pay that. What happens to your financial plan if that happens? What are some of the things that can destroy your financial plan? What happens if you lose your job? What happens if you have all your money invested and you don't have a pension plan? You have all your money in a portfolio of investments and they're high risk. And I've seen these many times. They're high risk and we have a market meltdown, 30, 40, 50%. What happens to your retirement then? How do you insulate yourself against all these things? And this is where people need a written financial plan. And I'm going to say it in this way, just so we all remember it. There are 3 P's. 3 P's. The first P stands for plan. I need a financial plan. If you're listening to the show, do you have one? If you don't, you get it for free. All you got to do is make a phone call. No cost, no obligation. That's a no-brainer. Free. Free is good. So you get a free plan. Secondly, you get a financial planner. A planner. So plan, planner. P for planner. You can't do it yourself. I don't care who you are. When I update my financial plan, I have people I talk to. I have a tax accountant, I have a lawyer, various people, because I can't know everything, and I don't even pretend that I do.
Well, that's the most successful people surround themselves with people that are experts.
That's correct.
And complement their weaknesses and have very specific knowledge to give good advice.
3 P's. First P stands for plan. Second P stands for planner. You and I are both planners. The last P is just as important as the first 2. The last P is the best products. I just gave you an example right now, a product which is less risky than what the client currently has and generates, if you extrapolate it over 5 years, almost an additional $4 million, or 400,000, I should say.
So in this case here, the product is the model portfolio.
Yes.
That we were discussing.
Yeah.
So what other products? We'd have life insurance and protection portfolio and so forth.
So the bottom line is an extra $400,000 by having the best products inside the plan. This woman does not have the best products inside the plan. Does not. Period. And I don't care how much her current advisor swings in the wind and all the rest of it, does not have the best products inside that particular plan and needs them. We have to go. We're out of time. So again, thanks for participating in the show. Thanks for coming today, Steve.
Thanks.
And ladies and gentlemen, if you want further information, give Frida a call. She's down at the office at 737-3501. 737-3501. Give her a call, and I'll look forward to talking to you. Bye for now.
If you'd like Fred to review your portfolio, call his office right now at 604-737-3512. That's 604-737-3512.